Today, I want us to look at how you, as an individual, can reduce your carbon footprint. We talked about what is carbon footprint, an individual carbon footprint. I'm going to link that video up here so that you can watch it if you have not yet watched this video. And now, after you understand what is carbon footprint, then how can you reduce your carbon footprint? What happens is that greenhouse gases is the main cause of climate change. What happens is that greenhouse gases increase in the atmosphere, and when they get into the atmosphere, they cause global warming. And it is this global warming that now presents itself in form of climate change. So the way to deal with climate change is to reduce global warming. And how we can reduce global warming is by reducing the amount of greenhouse gases that we emit into the atmosphere. So anything that you do, make sure that you're trying to cut the greenhouse gases that we have in the atmosphere. So any of these ways that I'm going to give you, in any way, one way or another, are going to get back to how much we emit into the atmosphere. And the first one, of course, that I'm going to use, because it is very fossil fuel is one of the main culprits, and one of the way that each and every one of us interacts with fossil fuel in action is through transport. So what mode of transport are you using? So for example, are you using public transport or are you driving yourself? So if it is possible to use public transport, it is better than driving yourself around, especially when it comes to short distances. Long distances could be otherwise, but short distances, then you could use the public. When you're going to work, to the market, how do you drive, or how do you get to your destination? So if it is possible to use public transport, then better. If you can be able to use a bus other than a matatu, the better. If you can be able to use a train in comparison to a matatu, even better. So these are a way of reducing the fossil fuel emissions that will end up into the atmosphere. And we said, if you're in a matatu, the amount of emissions that is going to be produced in that car, unaona venye gari inapita alafu inatoa moshi, that pollution, if it is divided amongst you all, each one of you is going to take a portion. So if you are in a matatu, the amount of emission that matatu is going to cause should be divided between you all, and that is part of your carbon footprint. So then imagine using a matatu and using a personal vehicle. Where do you get more emissions per person? It is in the private vehicle. Okay, so if you can be able to use a public transport, then good for you, go ahead. But in case you are not able to use the matatu or to use the public means, of course, all this comes with a lot of inconveniences and other issues. So you want to use your car. What car are you using? How maintained is your car? If you have to drive yourself around, make sure that your car is well maintained so that it does not increase the amount of emissions it gets into the atmosphere. So maintain your car if you have to use it. When you don't have to use your vehicle, then use the public transport means. So that is point number 1. Point number 2 is how we are using the energy that we have. How are we using the energies that we have? And what energy are we using? Are we using clean energy, clean renewable energy, or are we still using the ordinary energy that is causing harm to our atmosphere? We have seen a lot of fights between people shifting from the grid, the national grid, to the solar panels or the renewable energy, which of course is clean energy somehow. But then the question is, how are you using it? If you are using the solar energy, then good for you. If you're still using the grid energy, that in some way in its production causes emissions, how are you using it in your house? How are you using the energy that we have? What bulbs are you using? What bulbs do you have in your house? Are they the LED bulb, or are they the ordinary halogen bulbs, which consume at least 15 times more energy as compared to the LED bulbs? So that is another way that you can reduce your personal carbon footprint, of the amount of emission that gets into the atmosphere. Shift from the high consumption appliances to appliances that can use a relatively low amount of energy. Also, if you can be able to shift to clean renewable energy, even better, because you reduce the amount of emissions that is going to happen from production of the electricity that is that we be using every now and then. Because of course, like for example, KPLC, to be able to supply you with energy, they have to get poles to your place, they have to use cables. These cables are insulated in plastic and all these things. So in the production of the plastic that insulates the cables, in the production of the posts, even if they could argue the posts are not always trees, then if we're using the plastic wall or the cement wall, there is a production bit of this post. So either way, the energy from the grid is more, produces more, or in the process of getting that power to you has already produced enough emissions. So when it gets to your house, then you need to make sure you use it efficiently. So if you don't need the TVs on, keep them off. Once you are done charging your appliances and all these things, unplug them from the sockets. Try and make sure that you use your energy wisely. Point number 3 is when it comes to your home. How do you ventilate your home? What air conditioning system are you using in your house? Now, this comes to, or we should begin in the design of your home. If you want to build, what is the design of your home? Do you just give the work to your architect and they're going to design it for you? Your engineers come in, your contractors come in. Do you have a look at the designs, at the plans that they have? Have they incorporated environmental aspects into your designs for your own home? Now, we have talked about environmental impact assessment. This is an assessment that is done to developments before they are implemented. If it is your own personal home, maybe a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom house, you do not need this license as per the law, unless otherwise. So there is not any one time that NEMA is going to come and check how you're doing your house. There's not any time as a consultant I'm going to come to your place and tell you this plan is not this plan, this thing. But then it is now your personal responsibility to make sure that as you're designing your houses, you incorporate environmental aspects that are possible. For example, lighting out your home. Can you make sure that your house, when it is designed and how it is designed, can incorporate more light during the day, so that during the day you do not need electricity on? You do not need to lit up the house during the day. You could use the natural lighting. How is the ventilation? Can you be able to ventilate your house naturally, or do you have to use the air conditioning system? These are simple things that are really making a difference, because, for example, if you have to use a fan, for example, in your house, it means this fan is going to use electricity, and of course, you have to tap into the grid or into your source of energy, and of course, this now comes with a bit of emission. So make sure your house is well ventilated and well lit, and if possible, naturally during construction or before construction, that is during the design stage. So that is the point number 3, I guess. The other one that is applicable actually is eating foods that don't really require a lot of that do not really emit a lot of gases into the atmosphere, the greenhouse gases, in their production, transportation, or even preserving and cooking and all these things. Try and look for, here I would say, get your food fresh. If it is the sukuma wikis, the managus, the terere, make sure they are fresh. Make a point of getting them fresh, if possible, from the farm, where they do not have to be transported to the supermarket so that you can pick them from the supermarket. It is easier, or it is more environmental, to get your kales from the farm directly to your kitchen other than getting your kales from the supermarket or from the circles where they have been transported by vehicles that use petrol or diesel. Remember, these kales were already brought up in a way that could have caused greenhouse emissions. For example, it was maybe they were irrigated. Irrigation, of course, during the process of irrigation, there is a lot of greenhouse gas that is caused. So make sure to use foods directly from the farm where possible. So that now this is where I'm going to tell women and ladies, get your own garden. If you're in town, in urban areas, if you have space, get yourself a sack garden so that you can get your veggies as fresh as possible. It's just a way of reducing the emissions that we have. Remember, I told you in the initial video that I'm going to link up here once again that greenhouse gases are the causes of global warming. And we said carbon footprint is the amount of greenhouse gases that end up into the atmosphere and can be traced back to you. So if you're eating kales that were farmed in the village and then they were brought all the way by a lorry or a matatu or the whatever mode of transport that used diesel, the emissions that were produced during transport, during production of those kales, during refrigeration at the supermarket, the people who came to attend to you at the supermarket, the workers at the supermarket, had to use vehicles to come to work and all this so that they can serve you the sukuma wiki. All these emissions, if it is calculated, you also play a part because these veggies end up into your house. And when they end up to your house, there is usually a waste that ends up into the landfill emitting methane. You are also probably used vehicles, either public or private, to go and get them from the supermarket. So either way, you're going to have a little more emission as compared to somebody who got their kales directly from a mama boga or a kibanda woman who gets them directly from her farm. So she does not need transport, refrigeration, and all these things. And of course, again, it is healthy for your body, because the environment is about your profits. If you are in a business, it's about the people, and of course, it is about the planet. So we, the environmentalists, especially me, also care about your health. You need to keep health, and of course, how again are you going to keep better health other than eating what is originally from the farm, other than what is through refrigeration and all these processes? Point number 5, I guess the last one here, is that you need to reduce your wastes. If possible, reduce waste production as much as possible. If you do not have to produce waste, then do not produce waste. When you're going to get your kales cut by the mama, walk with your bag. If you're going for shopping, carry your kiondo. Reduce the wastes as much as possible. If you cannot reduce, then reuse these products as much as possible. And if you cannot reuse, then recycle. But is recycling really working for us as of now? But recycle as much as possible. And I think that way, we also reduce the amount of waste that we are producing on a daily basis. That is really a problem in our country. And of course, now we are able to have a better life. Then that way we can be able to act on our greenhouse gas emissions and be able to reach the 0 to 2 tons of greenhouse gases per person per year. And thank you very much for watching. Keep watching more and more videos that I'm going to link here, that are going to show up anywhere, one here, the other one here. Also subscribe to my channel if you're not yet subscribed, and thank you for subscribing. hit on the notification bell, share this video with a friend, give it a thumbs up if you like it, and I'll see you in the next one. But till then, keep safe.